The Sandringham Agreement lasted 6 years before being openly violated. The new Sussex deal, which some have called Megxit, a portmanteau that captures the absurdity of attempting to re-enter an institution you spent half a decade trying to destroy, did not survive its own announcement. Alison Boshoff, the Daily Mail journalist who has been tasked with presenting the Sussex perspective to the British public, revealed the terms of what was described as Operation Reconciliation. The rules were specific: no commercial activity in the UK, no cameras, no subsequent Instagram posts. No revelations in interviews afterward. Treatment as cherished members of the royal family while on British soil in exchange for strict privacy around all family engagements. Harry, according to Boshoff's source, agreed to that in a heartbeat. Within days of the agreement being reported, a camera crew was confirmed to be travelling with the Sussexes for the Invictus Games countdown events. A second camera crew was reportedly planned for Althorp, where Archie and Lilibet are expected to visit Princess Diana's burial site on the island, a visit that commentators believe is connected to a forthcoming 30th anniversary Diana documentary. Meghan's As Ever brand released a summer entertaining marketing email timed to coincide with the first day of UK visit coverage. And sources close to Harry briefed multiple outlets about the visit's emotional significance in terms that were indistinguishable from promotional copy for the next Sussex content project.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle already plotting to break these so-called new Megxit rules. Because, of course, Megxit was never going to last, given they aren't making any money. So they did this new deal with the British royal family, with Alison Boshoff revealing the Sussexes have agreed to a whole load of respectful guidelines when they're in the Harry and Meghan are never going to stick to them. First, Tom Sykes on the Royalist podcast with Alison Boshoff revealing that there is a camera crew coming for the Invictus Games. It's always for the Invictus Games, isn't it? Yeah, right, watch.
The rules were broken before the ink was dry, and nobody who has watched the Sussexes operate for 6 years is surprised, because the rules were never intended to be followed. They were intended to be announced to create the impression of compliance, to provide the palace with a justification for welcoming Harry and Meghan, and to give the Sussexes the access they need to produce the content that pays the bills. The rules are the price of admission. The content is the product. And the product, as always, is the royal family itself. Their homes, their ceremonies, their grave sites, their relationships, their children converted from private life into public spectacle for commercial distribution. Tash, the independent royal commentator who appeared alongside Dan Wootton on Outspoken, dismantled the agreement with the systematic precision of someone who has been tracking Sussex patterns long enough to predict them. "I've never thought it's about reconciliation," she said. "They are the masters behind the drama. They're the ones pulling the strings, they're the ones releasing the briefing notes and pulling the plug, in the same manner that we had the Kardashian Gate photo scandal." Her assessment of the camera crews was blunt. Of course they were coming over here for something self-serving.
Deal is a joke, because we're talking about a camera crew for the Invictus Games. They always say it's for the Invictus Games, but also a camera crew for Althorp. So the idea that they're coming to the United Kingdom and this is a private visit and it's not just a content farming operation for them, I think is total rubbish. Fresh Harry and Meghan updates every single day.
I think it was, I still do not believe that the children are coming. That's just my personal feelings. I do believe that the children are being used, obviously, with Harry's latest attempt to force the hand to give him the security that he wants, because I believe Meghan and Harry are coming to film content. I think she'll come. But I think they're coming to film content for a documentary. There's something going on behind the scenes. They know that their only thing that's ever brought in decent money has been to do with the royal family. There's all of this drama that's come out of nowhere. They are the masters behind it. They're the ones pulling the strings. They're the one releasing the operational notes and pulling the plug, in the same manner that we had the Kardashian Gate photo scandal. You know, once the horse is bolted, it's no point closing the gate. And that's exactly what they've done. So I think they are coming.
The Althorp camera crew is particularly revealing because it connects the UK visit to a commercial project that has been in development for months. Tom Sykes, on the Royalist podcast with Boshoff, noted that he had been told repeatedly about a 30th anniversary Diana documentary. The closure of Althorpe House to visitors on July 10 and 11 suggests the dates have been cleared for a private filming session. And the footage, Harry's children visiting their grandmother's grave for the first time, walking across the island, kneeling at the memorial stone, would be, in documentary terms, priceless. It would be the emotional centerpiece of any film about Diana's legacy, the image that carries the narrative, the moment that justifies the production budget. And it would be shot during a visit that was supposed to be strictly private, with no cameras. The Diana monetization question has become one of the most uncomfortable.
In tow for this visit with the children, we believe, if they do end up coming, to Princess Diana's gravesite at Althorpe.
The other thing about the camera crew that I've heard, because you know, then there's this proposed trip to Althorpe, which is closed on the 10th and 11th of July, because I've been told repeatedly that there is indeed a 30th anniversary Diana documentary coming. So it seems to me like they'd be minded to try and grab some B-roll of them all going on the boat over to the island to visit the grave. I mean, of course, we had that very melodramatic description of Meghan visiting the grave in Spare, you know, where Harry goes away and she communes with Diana's spirit, and he comes back like 10 minutes later and she's kneeling.
Threads in the Sussex narrative. Harry and Meghan have consistently invoked Diana's memory at moments of maximum commercial or strategic value. The landmine walk in Angola, the Netflix docu-series, the Oprah interview Spare itself. Tash made a point that cuts through the sentimentality. Meghan is obsessed with trying to pretend that she is Diana's reincarnation. And Harry seems to like it for whatever Freudian reason. The emulation wardrobe, photographic poses, humanitarian positioning is too consistent to be coincidental and too calculated to be natural. The Althorpe visit, if it happens, will produce images no other content creator on Earth can replicate. A private island burial site, children meeting their grandmother's memory, footage that would be the emotional centerpiece of any documentary. This is not grief. This is content acquisition, and the fact that it is being planned during a visit governed by an agreement that prohibits cameras tells you everything about the value the Sussexes assign to their own promises.
For content. And again, another reason why I think the King needs to steer very well clear of these two. But Althorpe, that was the only thing I genuinely thought if the kids were coming, because I can see Meghan and Harry seeing the worth of the children, the backs of their heads at least, at Diana's gravesite. You know, we saw Archie when he was a baby in Netflix footage stroking a photograph of Diana on the wall. And we know that Meghan is obsessed with trying to pretend that she is Diana's reincarnation, and Harry seems to like it for whatever Freudian reason. But yeah, I can't see the children truthfully coming. I think that has just been another attention grab. But as for them with the film crews, of course they were coming over.
The Invictus camera crew operates under a different pretext. The games are a legitimate charitable enterprise and their documentation is reasonable. But the pretext is elastic enough to capture whatever the Sussexes want captured. Harry walking through Birmingham, Meghan visiting a children's hospital, the family arriving at an event. The visual language of a royal tour conducted by people who are not authorized to conduct one. The distinction between Invictus footage and Sussex content is a line that exists on paper and nowhere else. Because the same camera that films Harry addressing veterans also films Meghan greeting crowd members. And the same edit suite that produces Invictus promotional material also produces Sussex brand content.
There are countless trips that those two have done between them to different countries, even different states in America, where people have not seen them because they use the private VIP entrance and exits at the airport. These two are capable. of coming over here in privacy if they want to, but they don't. And this has just been blown up rather big. I don't think even anybody, I haven't seen a single newspaper actually talk about the reason why Harry was originally meant to be coming, and that was for the 1 year to go Invictus event. I'd be interested to know what these Invictus people think about it right now, because they have completely overshadowed anything to do with the Invictus Games yet again. But Harry is the founder, as he keeps calling himself, so I don't really see that they're going to change anything about this. But I do think this is going to be another nail in the coffin, as it were, for Invictus, because more and more people are just beginning to see it for what it is, and it has become very much the Meghan Markle show.
The semi-working royal concept that Boshoff attributed to Harry's circle is perhaps the most dangerous idea to emerge from the entire negotiation. According to her source, Harry believes that in the UK he can act as a semi-working royal as long as there is nothing commercial going on here. In the US, he is a gun for hire and can take the money. This is, as Tash observed, precisely the arrangement the Queen rejected at the Sandringham summit. Elizabeth saw the danger of half in, half out, with a clarity that her son has not yet demonstrated, and the danger has not diminished with time. It has intensified. Because a semi-working royal, who performs public engagements in Britain while running commercial enterprises from Montecito, creates a permanent ambiguity that damages the brand of every working royal who actually does the job full-time for free without the option of being a gun for hire when the cameras are off. Consider what this means in practice. Princess Anne performs over 500 engagements per year. She does not receive a fee. She does not sell merchandise related to her visits. She does not bring camera crews. She does not brief journalists about her emotional state. She does not accuse the government of sabotage when her security arrangements do not meet her preferences. She simply does the work day after day, year after year, decade after decade, because the work is the job, and the job is not optional. If Harry is permitted to perform a dozen engagements per year in Britain, without fees, while earning millions from commercial activities in America, the implicit message to Anne, to Edward, to Sophie, to every working member of the family is, you are doing it wrong. You should have left. You should have built a brand. You should have monetized the title. You would be richer, more famous, and working less. The semi-working royal concept is not a compromise. It is a demolition charge placed at the foundation of the monarchy's operating model. If it is permitted to exist, if Harry is allowed to function as a part-time prince with a full-time side hustle, the institution will have created a precedent that every future family member can invoke. Why should George perform 1,000 engagements when his uncle proved that a dozen per year plus Netflix was a viable alternative? The precedent is the danger. And Elizabeth, who understood precedent the way an architect understands load-bearing walls, would never have allowed it.
But treated as cherished members of the royal family when in the UK. The price for that is an assurance that there won't be any commercial activity when over here. At least that's the new deal as Harry sees it, and he is keen to keep to the terms when he arrives on July 6th. A source close to the prince said Harry is determined to play this one with a straight bat, by which I mean that there will be no commercial activity around this visit. That goes for him and Meghan. The source adds that Harry believes the royal family's stance on commercial activity has shifted considerably, not over everything, but there is recognition in senior circles of the court that activities in the UK and the US are different. There is some acceptance that in the UK he can act as a semi-working royal as long as there is nothing commercial going on here. In the US he is a gun for hire and can take the money. In the UK he will not. Apparently Harry doesn't think that it completely undoes the terms of Megxit, but he is optimistic that it might allow him and his family to move beyond the outcome of the Sandringham Summit.
The fact that there is, that they've changed their minds that Harry can actually be a semi-working royal. He's not a semi-working royal. A working royal is someone that represents the king and the crown. Harry does not represent the king or the crown. He doesn't represent anybody but himself. He's not a diplomat. He doesn't represent the government, the US government, the UK government. Harry is a private citizen who represents himself. So he is not a working royal, and he...
The WhatsApp family group that Boshoff's source described a channel through which Harry reportedly shares family news and pictures with the wider royal family, raises questions about the intersection of private communication and public briefing. If such a group exists, its contents are private. The fact that a friend of Harry disclosed its existence to a journalist at the Daily Mail means that private family communications are being converted into press coverage, which is precisely the behavior of the new agreement was supposed to prevent. Harry shares photos of his children with his family through WhatsApp. His friends tell the Daily Mail about the WhatsApp group. The Daily Mail publishes the detail, and the world learns that Harry is maintaining family connections, which generates sympathetic coverage that serves the Sussex narrative. The private becomes public, becomes content, becomes brand. The cycle is unbreakable because the cycle is the business model. This is why the Sandringham agreement failed and why the
Boshoff is trying to paint a picture, though, Tash, of there being some closer relations within the family. She quotes a friend of Prince Harry saying there is a WhatsApp group via which Prince Harry shares family news and pictures with the wider royal family. This friend also makes the extraordinary claim that Harry has hopes of meeting with William and his family. The feeling among his friends is that Harry is likely to stay in Sandringham and that there will be a number of informal meetings with the wider family, and yes, that will include William. They do not hate each other, as has been reported. Are they tired of each other's attitudes to the situation? Yes. Are they wary of how the other will react? Again, yes. But there is a lot of hope that there might be a civil meeting in a few weeks. Many years have passed and everyone is older. He adds, their wives may have to grit their teeth.
An agreement will fail in the same way. The agreement assumes, good faith assumes, that the Sussexes will honour the spirit of the arrangement rather than simply searching for loopholes. But 6 years of evidence demonstrate that the Sussexes do not operate in good faith. They operate in content. Every interaction, every access point, every moment of institutional proximity is evaluated for its content potential. A meeting with Charles is not a family dinner, it is a scene in a documentary. A visit to Diana's grave is not a private pilgrimage, it is B-roll for a 30th anniversary film. A handoff of As Ever Lavender Honey is not a gift, it is a product placement. The agreement can prohibit cameras inside the room, but it cannot prevent Harry from briefing his friends about what happened in the room, and those friends from telling the Daily Mail and the Daily Mail from publishing the details, and the details from appearing in every Sussex-adjacent media outlet within hours. The enforcement mechanism is the fatal weakness.
Visit, which is a result of that improved working relationship. The source said it was so far from where the royal family wanted to be, seeing family moments seemingly commercialized and thinking they might turn up on Netflix. But Tash, we already know they're breaking the terms.
No, it doesn't. It's completely written by Sussex people as well. I mean, to even say that when they're in the UK, they will be treated as cherished members. I'm pretty certain there's no one left in that family that cherishes either one of them. I do not believe that for a second. Just done one thing to one person. They've done a lot of things to all of them. And to treat Queen Elizabeth like that, they would have all known that she was dying and it was her final months on this earth. And Harry and Meghan made it as hurtful as possible. And they were still continuously trying to damage her legacy. I cannot see that anyone outside King Charles is even...
Who enforces the agreement? If Harry's camera crew films at Althorpe, does the palace withdraw the invitation for the next visit? If Meghan's marketing email coincides with a UK engagement, does the palace issue a public rebuke? If Harry's friends brief Boshoff about private family conversations, does the palace cancel the meeting with Charles? The answer to each of these questions, based on 6 years of precedent, is no. The palace will express disappointment. It will brief Rebecca English with carefully worded frustration. It will add another data point to the growing catalogue of Sussex violations. And it will do nothing, because doing something, stripping titles, issuing public rebukes, formally severing the relationship, would generate the kind of headlines that the institution exists to avoid. This is the appeasement trap that Duncan Larkham identified. Charles cannot enforce the agreement without creating a crisis. And Harry knows he cannot. which is why Harry agreed in a heartbeat. The agreement costs him nothing because the cost of violating it is zero. He will bring cameras, he will produce content, he will brief his friends. And the palace, having established rules it cannot enforce, will be left holding an agreement that everyone knows is worthless. The most extraordinary claim in Boshoff's reporting.
He's even hoping, Boshoff reports, to have Meghan and Archie meet brother William, plus Kate and their children. So Tash, let's pause there. Is there any chance that William and Catherine would allow that to happen?
Absolutely none. There is no way that they're going to allow themselves to be used as a pawn in this. I mean, Catherine, I was funnily enough thinking about Catherine earlier today, and it was just Meghan and Harry both lied about her. And to be that person where you've had other people be cruel and unkind to you, that have bullied you, that have made you cry, and then for them to have publicly told everybody you are the horrible person after everything Catherine had gone through, the public rings of fire that she's had to go through her entire life, where everybody's chomping at the bit for her to, put a foot out of place. They completely lied about Catherine. And then she's had to watch them say that she was the bad person. I can't imagine Catherine would forgive that. I can't imagine who are these people that want Catherine to forgive that awful sense of betrayal. I mean, Meghan was someone that was briefly in the family. You can forget about her, be indifferent to her. But Harry, who she had known since he was a teenager, Harry, who she was close to, there's no way that she would want him anywhere near her. But more importantly now, her eldest son, who is at the age where he is now taking on royal engagements. They want to keep George away from this toxic mess. And William, he's never going to forgive the younger brother that sat there on TV and implied that Prince William doesn't love his wife. He only married his wife because she was a Stepford.
Yeah, and that he's trapped in the royal family.
Harry told people that he was concerned for Catherine and William's children. I'd imagine that dog bowls are the least of his worries if William gets anywhere near him these days. I just know.
That Harry is hoping to have Meghan and Archie meet brother William, plus Kate and their children, was received by every serious royal observer with something between disbelief and derision. William has not spoken to Harry in any meaningful way since the publication of Spare. Catherine has not seen Meghan since the couple's departure. Angela Levin has confirmed that William refused Harry's request to spend time with Charlotte and Louis. The Peter Phillips wedding invitation was not extended. The Cold War, as Tina Brown documented, has progressed to the point where Harry's name does not arise in William's conversations. Tash articulated the emotional dimension of Catherine's position with the directness of someone who has no institutional obligation to be diplomatic. Catherine had gone through the public rings of fire her entire life, where everybody's chomping at the bit for her to put her foot out of place. They completely lied about Catherine, and then she's had to watch them say that she was the bad person. The references to the crying incident, the pre-wedding dispute about flower girl dresses that Meghan characterized on Oprah as Catherine making her cry, when multiple palace sources have confirmed it was the reverse. Catherine was accused publicly on the most watched television interview of the decade of behavior that was actually Meghan's. And then she was expected to absorb the accusation in silence because the institution does not respond to personal attacks on individual members. Catherine absorbed it. She said nothing. She carried on. She recovered from cancer. She climbed 3 mountains. She appeared at Wimbledon. She donated to a paralyzed child's charity. And now the woman who lied about her on international television wants to bring her children to play with Catherine's children, and Harry's friends are briefing the Daily Mail that this is a real possibility. It is not. Catherine's silence on the subject should not be confused with willingness. It is discipline, and discipline, unlike forgiveness, does not soften with time.
I cannot believe that William and Catherine will go anywhere near them, because if they go near them, it then brings them a closer step to their children, into a proximity to Princes George and Princess Charlotte. And I do not think that they will want them to have anything to do with them whatsoever. They will protect them.
And again, for me, Tash, that is just a fundamental misunderstanding from Harry's side, Harry's friends, of how William actually feels. To suggest that this row, Tash, is simply between the wives. And I mean, yes, of course, huge issues with Meghan and Catherine, okay? Like, you know, I was the first to report on them in the world, huge issues. But Tash, that is not the only issue.
And yet Harry's friends are briefing the Daily Mail that a meeting with William's family is on the cards. This is not optimism. It is delusion. The same delusion that produced the Buckingham Palace accommodation flip-flop, the same delusion that produced the WhatsApp itinerary that was retracted within 24 hours, the same delusion that Tina Brown described as a flying carpet on which the Sussexes circle the globe. Harry wants something that does not exist. His friends describe it as though it does. The press publishes it as a possibility, and the public, which has watched this pattern repeat with mechanical regularity, no longer believes any of it. The Boshoff article contained one more claim that deserves attention, because it reveals the depth of the disconnect between Sussex perception and family reality. The source described the visit as step 1 in Operation Reconciliation, a carefully thought through plan to heal the wounds between Harry and his family. Step 1, as though the visit is the beginning of a process rather than the latest iteration of a cycle that has produced nothing except additional damage, as though the family is waiting to be healed rather than having already moved on, as though the wounds are bilateral, shared equally between Harry and the institution rather than overwhelmingly self-inflicted. The family does not need healing. The family needs the Sussexes to stop making it worse. William does not need reconciliation. William needs Harry to stop talking about his wife in public. Catherine does not need ice to be broken. Catherine needs the woman who made her cry, who lied about the crying, and who then told Oprah about it to stay as far away from her children as geographically possible. Charles does not need Operation Reconciliation. Charles needs his son to accept a dinner invitation without turning it into a constitutional crisis. Tash raised a point that exposes the fundamental dishonesty of the entire
here for something self-serving. They could have been on a plane, on a helicopter, and met with the king many, many times. Or maybe not Meghan. Maybe the king genuinely doesn't want to see Meghan, but Harry could have done. He could have easily come into this country. If Harry can arrive in China and no one knows, if Harry can get all the way to Ukraine and no one knew, if Meghan can get to Paris, no one knew, then he could have easily come into this country.
Yeah, and it's a circus. And Tash, you're completely right, because for so long I have been saying there is such a simple way for Harry and Meghan to bring the children. It would be at Balmoral over the summer. It could all be done in total privacy. Private jet to Aberdeen, that short journey. And remember, Harry made that journey after the late Queen Elizabeth II's death with no issues whatsoever, into protection at Balmoral. No one would know, no one would see, and actually
a reconciliation framing. Harry could have been on a plane, on a helicopter, and met with the king many, many times. She said, if Harry can arrive in China and no one knows, if Harry can get all the way to Ukraine and no one knew, if Meghan can get to Paris, no one knew, then he could have easily come into this country. The private visit option has always been available. A private jet to Aberdeen, the short drive to Balmoral. 2 days with his father in the Scottish Highlands. Nobody would know, nobody would see, nobody would photograph, brief, or commercialize. But the private visit defeats the purpose, because the purpose is not reconciliation. The purpose is content, coverage, and the maintenance of the Royal Association that sustains the Sussex brand. A visit that nobody knows about, cannot be leveraged, it cannot be briefed to friendly journalists. It cannot be timed to coincide with a marketing email. It cannot produce the camera footage that pays the production bills. The private visit, the one that would actually demonstrate changed behavior, genuine humility, and sincere desire for family connection, is the one Harry has never attempted. The deal died.
To treat Harry and Meghan as cherished members. Harry is fine to earn money, merching his titles, as is Meghan. You know, they are coming to the palace. They're not coming to the palace. It's just one big circus. And the thing is, I think everybody's almost had enough of it now. I mean, even the people that generally hate watch, I think they're already over Harry and Meghan's visit, and they're not even here yet, Dan, because they've blown it up again. And
at birth, because it was never alive. It was a press release designed to generate the impression of progress, to make the public believe that the Sussexes have changed, that the institution has softened, and that something resembling normalcy is possible. But the camera crews are coming, the marketing emails are timed, the WhatsApp group is being briefed about, and the agreement, like the Sandringham agreement before it, like every Sussex commitment before that, exists only as long as it takes to announce it. The rules were clear. No cameras, no commercial activity, no public exploitation of private moments. The cameras are confirmed. The commercial activity continues from Montecito, and the private moments, Diana's grave, the grandchildren, the family reunion, are already being scouted as locations for a documentary that will air on a platform the Sussexes have not yet announced. The deal is dead. The content is coming. And the monarchy, which should have learned from the Sandringham agreement that Sussex compliance has a half-life measured in hours rather than years, is about to discover that the second time you make the same mistake is not a misjudgment, it is a choice. The Queen saw this coming. At Sandringham in January 2020.
I'd imagine that Sophie is still raging as well because of the way that Meghan treated Queen Elizabeth II and the way that she was trying to get in pictures and use Princess Charlotte, to the point that Sophie actually glared at Meghan several times as they moved Charlotte away from her. I do not believe that the royal family have forgiven them for what they've done. They haven't. But that, to me, read like when they gave their Megxit demands. Harry and Meghan will have this. Harry and Meghan will have that. And it turned out that, well, obviously the Queen turned around and said no. But to turn around and say they will be treated as cherished members, by who exactly?
She looked at the terms Harry and Meghan had published on their website, terms that had never been agreed to by anyone, and she understood immediately what they were dealing with. She established boundaries. She enforced them. She created a framework that was supposed to contain the damage, and then she died, and the containment failed because the man who replaced her does not share her instinct for decisive action. Charles loves his son. Nobody disputes this. His willingness to offer Buckingham Palace, to keep the door open, to express through intermediaries that he wants to see his grandchildren, all of it reflects a father's genuine desire for connection. But love is not a strategy. And when the person you love has demonstrated across 6 years and 3 continents that every concession will be exploited, every rule will be broken, and every agreement will be violated the moment it becomes inconvenient, love must be accompanied by consequences. Elizabeth understood this. Charles has not yet demonstrated that he does. The deal is dead. The content is coming.
Yeah, of course. I mean, as I said, it's not just one thing, it's so many things. It's the way that Harry and Meghan have continued to use Diana in such a way to earn money, to whip out, when they want a bit of positive coverage. I mean, Harry retracing Diana's steps with the landmine walk again and again and again. That's Prince William's mum. And Harry just seems to take ownership of anything to do with Princess Diana, the way that Meghan behaved when she went over to Paris with her feet up, going near where, Diana was killed in the tunnel. The references recently about Archie and Lily being chased by paparazzi. We're not stupid. We know exactly what Harry is trying to imply. He's trying to say that if his children come over, they will end up being killed just like his mother. And then you've got the attacks on Catherine.
And somewhere between Montecito and Birmingham, a camera crew is loading equipment into cases, checking batteries, and preparing to film the reconciliation that was supposed to be private, the grave visit that was supposed to be sacred, and the family reunion that was supposed to be about family converting all of it with the mechanical efficiency of a production operation that knows exactly what it is doing into the only thing the Sussexes have ever reliably produced. Content. Not connection, not service, not healing. Content. The raw material of a brand that cannot survive without the institution it left behind. filmed by cameras that were not supposed to be there, in violation of an agreement that was not supposed to be broken, during a visit that was not supposed to be commercial. The Sandringham agreement is dead. The Megxit agreement is dead.
The interview, or, Harry's thoughts that said recently to ITV that Harry knows that there are, I think it was something like 3 members of palace staff that work on Ravik, one being in Prince William's office. That was Harry's friend as well. Who are these friends? We all know that the majority of Harry's friends with any common sense ditched him a long time ago. So I'm sorry, I'm just finding a lot of this. It's just Sussex propaganda coming out. But I do not believe anything that Alison Boshoff said in there is coming truthfully from the palace side. That to me is just all Sussex propaganda. Everybody is.
And the next agreement, if Charles is unwise enough to offer one, will die the same way, for the same reasons, with the same cameras rolling, because the Sussexes do not break agreements by accident. They break them by design. The agreement is the access pass, the violation is the business plan. And the only way to stop the cycle is to stop offering agreements and start enforcing consequences, which is exactly what Elizabeth would have done and exactly what Charles has not yet found the courage to do.